13th March 2013, Argentina's Jorge Mario Bergoglio elected Pope Francis. Argentine Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio has been elected the Catholic Church's Pope, taking the name Francis. Appearing on the balcony over St. Peter's Square in Rome, he asked the faithful to pray for him, with cheers erupting as he gave a blessing. The 76-year-old from Buenos Aires is the first Latin American and the first Jesuit to be pontiff. Messages of goodwill have poured in from around the world. The Pope's inaugural Mass will be next Tuesday. Pope Francis replaces Benedict XVI, who resigned last month at the age of 85, saying he was not strong enough to lead the Church. Francis has telephoned Benedict and is planning to meet him, a Vatican spokesman said. The new Pope takes the helm at a difficult time for the Catholic Church, facing an array of challenges which include the role of women, interfaith tensions, and dwindling congregations in some parts of the world. Fruitful mission. The election of a new pope was signaled by white smoke from the Sistine Chapel chimney on Wednesday evening. About an hour later, the name of the new pope was read out. At the scene, by Michael Hurst, BBC News, Rome, there was elation on the rain-strewn St. Peter's Square as the white smoke billowed from the rusty chimney. Balls bounced and flags swayed as the basilica bells rang out. The crowd swelled as Rome converged on the square, priests and pilgrims running to catch a glimpse of their new leader. Viva il Papa, they chanted, as they waited to learn his name. Once the crowd had been told, the chants quickly turned to Francesco, Francesco, and then to trumpet fanfare. The balcony curtains parted and the new pope appeared above them to bless them, but only after he had asked them to pray with him and for him. The people were touched and roared their approval. So the BBC's James Robbins in St. Peter's Square says that at first the crowd was unsure who this man was, but they seemed to warm to his humor. He began his address to the crowds by offering a prayer for his predecessor. In a light-hearted moment, he said his fellow cardinals had gone to the ends of the earth to find a bishop of Rome. He went on to ask the crowd to pray to God so that he can bless me before calling on the world to set off on a path of love and fraternity. Habemus Papam Franciscum was the first tweet by the papal account at Pontifex since Benedict stood down last month. The election was met with thunderous applause at the cathedral in Buenos Aires, Pope Francis' home city. Throughout Latin America, home to 40% of the world's 1.2 billion Catholics, people reacted with delight and surprise. It's a huge gift for all of Latin America. We waited 20 centuries. It was worth the wait, said Jose Antonio Cruz, a Franciscan friar in the Puerto Rico capital San Juan, quoted by the Associated Press. Everyone from Canada down to Patagonia is going to feel blessed. This is an event. U.S. President Barack Obama sent warm wishes on behalf of the American people to the newly elected pontiff, hailing the Argentine as the first pope from the Americas. Argentina's President Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner wished him a fruitful pastoral mission. Pope Francis is born as Jorge Mario Bergoglio on 17th December 1936, whose age is 76, in Buenos Aires, of Italian descent. Ordained as a Jesuit in 1969, he studied in Argentina and Germany. He became Cardinal of Buenos Aires in 1998. He is seen as orthodox on sexual matters, but strong on social justice. She is expected, the Argentina president, to attend the Pope's inauguration Mass on Tuesday, as is U.S. Vice President Joe Biden, himself a Catholic. UK Prime Minister David Cameron said it was a momentous day for Catholics, while Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, leader of the world's Anglicans, offered him every blessing. I look forward to meeting Pope Francis and to walking and working together to build on the consistent legacy of our predecessors, he said in a statement. United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said he looked forward to cooperation under Pope Francis' wise leadership. Correspondents say Cardinal Bergoglio was the surprise choice and not among a small group of front-runners before the election. Many observers were also expecting a younger pope to be elected. He is regarded as a doctrinal, conservative, but seen as a potential force for reform of the Vatican bureaucracy, which may have won the support of reforming cardinals. However, he is known more than anything for his humility. He has spent almost his entire career in Argentina and often travels to work by bus. The BBC's Marcia Carmo in Buenos Aires says, Cardinal Bergoglio's sermons always had an impact in Argentina. He often stressed social inclusion and indirectly criticized governments that did not pay attention to those on the margins of society. He is a very serious figure with moral clout, but very down-to-earth, said Monsignor Eduardo Garcia of the Cathedral of Buenos Aires. The name of the new pope is reminiscent of Saint Francis of Assisi, the 13th century Italian reformer and patron saint of animals who lived in poverty. The saint was said to have been summoned by God to repair a church in ruins. Cardinal Bergoglio, whose family roots are Italian, is generally thought to have come second in the last conclave in 2005, which elected Benedict XVI as pope. The 115 cardinals involved in the 2013 election were in isolation since Tuesday afternoon and held 4 inconclusive votes. At least 77 of them, or 2/3, would have had to vote for a single candidate for him to be elected pope. Before the conclave began, there appeared to be no clear choice to replace Benedict. Pope's next steps. On Thursday, Pope celebrates Mass with cardinals in Sistine Chapel, closed to public but televised. Friday, Pope meets all cardinals, including those over 80 who did not take part in conclave. On Saturday, papal audience with media. On Sunday, Pope recites Angelus with faithful in St. Peter's Square. And on Tuesday, Pope formally installed at Mass in St. Peter's Square.
And now the curtains part, and the new Pope emerges onto the balcony and looks down at that vast crowd, that sea of people beneath him.
It's interesting, John, because when Benedict XVI came out, remember he raised his hands in those clasped hands of victory as if we've won. And he's standing here, he just kind of waved. It's almost like a king or the queen, just one hand. He must be so overwhelmed by this.
He looks the picture of calm, placid almost, as he stands there, unflinching to see that crowd before him.
Cardinal Bergoglio is greeted on the balcony above St. Peter's Square.